We got divorced. We're raising 2 kids. We do not argue. Everything is fine.
You live together here in this country, right?
We live in this country, but we live separately. We're officially divorced and we take turns raising the kids. Since then, I've discovered a lot about myself, understood many things. I listen to you a lot, pray, meditate, help other people, and haven't found a new relationship.
Because you haven't left your old relationship. A woman is designed this way. She attaches a person to herself. She has this tentacle which she uses to attach a person to herself, but you haven't detached from that one yet.
How do I detach?
Attachment is the energy of faith. Only through faith in God can you really become free from dependency. You depend on this person. Attachment means dependency. You count on him in life, and that's why there's no one else. And there won't be, because when a woman starts counting on someone else, then someone else appears.
So it means I should count only on God?
Yes, first yes, then you develop a pure memory of the person in your heart, a pure, bright memory. Right now you have hope for him, you're hoping for something.
No, absolutely not. We closed that question and I'm grateful and wouldn't want to.
You don't understand that men and women cannot be friends. There's no friendship between a man and a woman. A friend is the energy of love. If you have a friend, it means there won't be another friend.
We just want to raise our children without conflicts. We celebrate our children's birthdays.
That's why you need faith in God, so that your friendship and peaceful life don't get confused with each other, because you direct your kindness toward this person, and this is a woman's family energy. Your family has remained the same. It hasn't changed.
Well, the material side of it is nice. Now I control the balance, and we just decided not to argue anymore.
I'm going to give you a serious reality check now. Imagine your new husband is sitting next to you right now. Would he like what you have now in this relationship or not?
I think yes, there's absolutely nothing between us.
And I think no, because you won't belong to him. You will belong to the family that you belong to now. That's why no one is appearing. God has many men, but all are beloved. It's a pity to put a man in such a situation. I'm not against friendship, but you need to sort out this relationship more deeply. Where are you giving your warmth? If you want to give it somewhere else, there will be a new relationship. Or if you want to direct it to the old relationship, maybe you should restore this relationship? Does he have someone?
He's been with a woman for 5 years. He's happy. But this is absolutely not where I want to return. I treat him as the father of my children, not as a man. I'm sure of this.
I answered you because I see something. When you go to bed, what do you think about? About your family. When you start thinking about God, then you'll have another family, because right now the attachment remains. You just don't realize it.
I understand.
Everything's great.
Thank you very much. Hello, my name is Karina. I've known you for a very long time. My mom has been watching your lectures for a long time. I have a question. I'm a student now, and I still have 3 years of studies left.
You're going through a difficult period now. It started 7 months ago. It's very hard for you to study.
I had 2 jobs, now I have 1. Because I'm constantly either at work or studying. I needed it.
You need to finish your education, because this diploma will help you a lot in your life here. You love to work. You're a practical person by nature. You love practice. Theory is very difficult for you, but you need the diploma. No one will give it to you without studying. You need confirmation that you have the right to work, that you have high qualification, and then this right will help you live better, work easier. It won't be so hard. After studying, it will be easier to work. You need to finish your studies, although you really don't want to. I won't even let you ask questions, so you understand that I see you, that your mom and I didn't arrange anything.
Yes, about the work, that's true.
The bad period will end in about 6 months. It will be easier for you to study. It became difficult for you 7 months ago. You get very tired from studying, your sleep is disturbed, it's hard for you to fall asleep because of this studying, your head is splitting, you have no strength, but you need to endure this test. In order to endure it, you can go to the swimming pool. Water energy is being depleted in your body. You should go to the pool, swim at least once a week. If the water is 28 degrees, then you need to swim for 70 minutes, and it will be much easier for you to study.
I also have skin that cracks very badly on my fingers.
This dryness means a lack of water energy. If, for example, there's chlorine in the pool, it can dry out your fingers. In this case, you need to apply coconut oil all over your body half an hour before swimming, and then your fingers won't suffer.
Is this hypothermia or just water?
There is water energy. You do not have enough of it. Its lack leads to dryness in the body. Dryness causes cracks in the fingers. You're drying out because you worry a lot. When a person is constantly in a state of anxiety, they dry out, they lose water energy. When there's not enough willpower, air energy is lost. And when there's not enough positivity, the energy of the sun is lost. You have enough willpower, you're a strong-willed person, you lack patience. That's why you're drying out, you have no patience. You need water energy to recover.
Thank you.
She's so intelligent, she understands everything. Your question, wasn't it you swimming yesterday? We had 9 men yesterday. When I arrived, I went to your bathhouse. The temperature in the pool was 8 degrees. We stood there for 10 minutes altogether, 11 people. Many were doing this for the first time. Then we lay in a very hot steam room for 30 minutes, then went to the pool for another 2 minutes. Now my question is, who was there? Raise your hand. How do you feel today? Great, right?
Very good.
This is called a healthy lifestyle, and the day after tomorrow we'll go for a run. We'll be running, walking, or crawling. Everyone needs to come, whether you run or crawl. Then we'll also swim in the river in ice-cold water. I'll run as the youngest one, 17 kilometers in 1 hour, 50 minutes, then I'll get into the ice-cold water. That's the program. This is so you understand how to live correctly, so you learn to live right. Not because I'm showing off. This is how I always live.
Thank you for your lectures. I've been listening for a long time.
You should listen to me every day, constantly, 24 hours a day.
We left Ukraine, where we had a consistent daily routine. But now with all the relocations, it's not as consistent.
All Ukrainians are suffering. It's a difficult period for the entire nation right now. Wherever they are, it's hard for everyone, but it's better to leave than to stay there because it's life-threatening there.
How can I get back to a regular routine, continue doing healing practices, and how can I heal an injured knee?
You currently have a significant deficiency in prana energy, and your willpower functions are suffering greatly because of this. If you cannot run, then you need to walk once every 6 days for 4 hours continuously, because there are very strong energetic blockages in the deep energy layers. They cannot be cleansed just by doing regular exercises. Prana is circulating well in your first and second energy layers. You work out for a maximum of 50 minutes. But beyond that, there's very strong mental tension due to lack of air energy and prana, and it can only be replenished through prolonged, continuous movement. If you walk for 4 hours once every 6 days, then after 3 months your willpower functions will begin to recover, your attention span and ability to make yourself do things will appear in your body. Right now you have a 45% deficiency of prana out of 100%. This doesn't even allow you to concentrate. And this can only be replenished through prolonged movement. There's no other way. You can walk a little every day. 50 minutes is enough to have an energetic day. But a person cannot walk 4 hours every day because after this the body needs 4 days to recover, otherwise there will be exhaustion. Brisk, prolonged walking. For example, I run for 1 hour and 50 minutes to cleanse all 5 layers of the human energy field, cleansing my entire body once every 6 days. But to get to this point it took me 2.5 years. I started running at 50 years old. I ran 500 meters and was out of breath. Now I run 17 kilometers without getting out of breath because the body trains. It gradually adapts if everything is done correctly. But an unhealthy lifestyle always leads to the same situations in life. Your lack of prana affects your activity, but sometimes it affects health. If a person lacks prana, their health suffers. They can simply end up in a coffin. You have a severe lack of prana energy in your body, severe exhaustion. Your willpower functions are suffering, and therefore your wife is going crazy. What's happening to my husband? I don't know how to live with him anymore. But what's simply happening to him is that fate is acting this way. And you, lady, you lack water energy. You're all restless and nervous. This affects your personal life, which is why there's anxiety and suffering in your personal life. You need to go to a swimming pool and do static exercises. When a person is in a swimming pool, their water energy is replenished. And when they do static exercises, it begins to circulate in the body and restores calmness.
My knee also hurts.
You need to do everything correctly. If a person has static tension, which you have, inflammatory processes occur because there's not enough water energy or there's static tension. Then the body heats up, it becomes too hot. You need to do static exercises. Swim in a pool to remove the tendency toward inflammatory processes, then the knee will heal rather than be injured from prolonged movement. There's one more problem. If a person runs for only 2 energy layers, which is 40 minutes, the knees don't heal because they're located on the 3rd energy layer. You're wearing out your knee but not healing it, therefore only a long run heals everything. But if people do this incorrectly, they wear out their body. If a person runs for 40 minutes frequently, The time comes when the knees wear out because they don't receive strength from such running. To gain strength, you need to run for an hour, and then in the last 20 minutes the knee begins to heal, or run less frequently, because the body needs to recover. You should read my methodical health guide to an effective healing and recovery of the body. It explains step by step what needs to be done to be healthy.
Thank you for coming. I have a 14-year-old daughter with a curved spine and flat feet.
When you were carrying your baby, there was strong tension in your uterus, and this led to the fact that on the third energy layer, tension arose in the child's body, meaning a lack of air energy. This tension is very dense, strong. The third layer is responsible for muscles. All muscles in the body are very tense because they lack energy. And there's another energetic blockage which is associated with a lack of the energy of the sun. Together, these two blockages give persistent tension in the muscles, metabolic disorders. The muscle tissue of the entire body suffers as a whole. And there is only one way out, to do everything according to the methodical guide, to fill the body with energy. First, you need to swim in the pool with your child so that the water energy is filled. Then start prolonged continuous movement. Walk at least 2 hours and 40 minutes once every 4 days, because you need to cleanse 3 layers in total. 1 layer is cleansed in 48 minutes. 48 multiplied by 3 equals 2 hours and 24 minutes, so you need to simply walk for 2 hours and 24 minutes once every 4 days. The child will hardly practice fasting. You can only fill her body with the energy of the sun through contact with the sun or through the sauna. I think this is what you should do. The best thing for you is to get diagnostics from us. I will test these layers and my assistant will communicate with you. I will give him instructions on what to do and he will guide you. Because the child requires systematic work and communication. When you start, you will have questions, and it's better to ask questions to a specialist so that you understand what to do. After filling her body with prana or air energy and the sun's energy, you'll cleanse energetic blockages in 3 layers. The subtle energy body will get relaxed, then the physical body will also begin to recover. And then after that, all other methods will help. For example, massages, stretching. All this will help, but now it cannot help because the body will return to its old state. Because the problem is not in the physical body, but in the subtle energy body. When the subtle energy body lacks energy, it cannot give energy to the muscles. The muscles are energetically depleted. About 50% of energy is currently lacking in the muscles, and that's why they are tight, tense. When there is a lot of energy in the muscles, they relax.
Tell me, please, can a mother share energy with her child?
Energy comes into the body through healing practices. It needs to be absorbed into the body because this girl's psyche is not tuned to receive it. This happened because of fate, meaning she cannot do without healing practices now, because she has been tense since childhood. She cannot engage in life. She needs to be activated through prolonged, continuous movement, through fasting. The child will not fast, but at least go to the sauna. I cannot explain all these practices to you now because it takes time. I cannot cure such a serious illness in a few words. Only after a year of these practices will it be possible to further work on the spine and the body as a whole, because otherwise it will be tense and all these actions will not lead to any result. You will relax the muscles with massage, but then they will tense up again because there is no energy, no life.
I understand. Thank you.
You've only understood briefly.
I understood the meaning.
The point is that the child received a certain mental trauma during pregnancy, and it affected the muscle tissue of the entire body, and the reason is the lack of energy now. You need to pump the body with energy, restore it so that the muscles work normally. All these curvatures occurred precisely because of the muscles, because the tension on the left side of the body is 30% higher than on the right. There is compression on the left side, curving the body to the right. But in any case, you need to relax the subtle energy body first. All diseases begin in the subtle energy body. The physical body simply becomes the result. If there is a chronic lack of the energy of the sun, the digestive cycle is disrupted. A person begins to gain weight because of this. Because food is not fully digested, it turns into fat. I just gave this as an example. This does not apply to your child. Have we resolved the issue? Then let's start our conversation. I'm glad to see you all. I'm a bit unemotional because of fasting. Not because I'm barely alive, I feel good inside, but because I'm fasting, my emotions are a bit unexpressed. Well, I'll gradually warm up now. We have a wonderful topic today, the art of family relationships, overcoming difficulties in a relationship between a man and a woman. These difficulties arise because a person strives for love. And this desire is so strong that it causes very strong expectations. If I strive for something, then there is a very strong expectation of what I am striving for. And these expectations give birth to resentments if they are not fulfilled. Moreover, a woman's expectations do not correspond to what a man understands he needs to do. And a man's expectations do not correspond to what a woman understands. A woman wants affection, tenderness, a good relationship. She wants a man to take responsibility, to be engaged in the relationship, to behave seriously. That's what she wants. But a man doesn't want this, because what I just said is austerity for a man, and no one wants to perform austerities. A man wants his wife to obey him, to always agree, to cook, wash, clean, and be very obedient. That's what he wants. And a woman wants him to address her as my darling, but for him this is austerity. Each person wants not what we can easily do. And true love means taking care. But people perceive love as enjoyment. Every person dreams of happiness. A person wants happiness. And so we perceive love as something that we should get naturally in life. It should come naturally. That's what we want. That's how we're built. We expect happiness to come to us. We want happiness. Because there are three energies in a person for which we live. There is the energy of eternity. We want to live forever. We don't want to die. No one wants to die.
Does this apply to everyone?
Do you want to die?
When time comes, yes, why not?
And when will your time come?
When the Lord decides.
My dear, nobody wants to die. You're just reasoning now.
I'm not reasoning. Simply not knowing what death is leads to fear. And when a person knows that there is no death, but only a transition from one reality to another, then the fear passes.
You are engaging in theoretical reasoning now, because what you're talking about is a very high level of personal development. A truly developed person always behaves with humility. We are talking about personal development now. Development means having a deep understanding of the world. A highly developed person behaves in such a way that it is not noticeable.
I disagree.
If you disagree, you're simply wasting your time. It's better to go to someone who can actually give you something. But if you came to listen, then you should listen.
I didn't say a word. You addressed me. I'm sitting quietly.
We are establishing this connection so that you can benefit from what we are doing. You are absolutely right. Everything you said is true. But the desire to live is built into the very nature of a human being. That's exactly what I'm talking about. We want to live. We want happiness. We want knowledge, or rather the power to overcome. Knowledge and overcoming are the same. We need knowledge to overcome. We want happiness, we want love, we want knowledge. These three desires lie at the very core of every human being. And the topic of love is the most important, because love is the peak of life. We live for love and for knowledge. Life is meant for love. Everything is about this. Living without it is meaningless. Without love, there is no life. Every person from childhood is always searching for happiness and cannot live without it. That desire for happiness itself creates problems in relationships because we want to receive what we haven't earned. Love is a divine state where a person finds joy in giving, not in taking. But when we hear the words happiness or love, we usually think of enjoying, not serving. All of human life is meant for transformation, to develop the understanding that real happiness comes from making others happy. I don't want to beat around the bush. Let me tell you right away why it's so difficult, from the very beginning. And it will always be difficult for everyone. Because love is only easy for saints, those who have learned to give love and find great joy in the act of giving. So only a person who deeply connects with holiness, who studies what spiritual life is, and explores the faith that resonates with them, they are capable of learning how to build proper relationships with a loved one. All other people will keep searching for harmony. There is one rule here. The more harmony, the more enjoyment you get from a person, the more enjoyment, the stronger the attachment. The stronger the attachment, the more sensitive you become to that person. You start reacting to everything they do that seems wrong to you. You try to control the person and their life according to your own needs and desires. This is called jealousy. Or someone constantly watches the other person, expects something from them, and life becomes unbearable. Raise your hand if you couldn't handle being loved too much and chose to leave. You see, this does happen. When someone falls deeply in love, they start living the life of the other person and want them to act exactly how they wish. And if the person doesn't behave as expected, they suffer a lot. This is called infatuation. But love means doing what the other person wants, not just waiting for them to do what you want. That's why people fall in love without understanding what they're dealing with. They are dealing with divine energy. Divine energy is what the Lord uses when acting together with his companions. It's the energy of service and purity. And since we are eternal souls, we also have a right to this energy. We use it too. But we don't know how to use it properly. That's why we suffer. We wait for love instead of cultivating it ourselves. To overcome these difficulties in relationships, we should at least understand what our loved one needs, what a woman needs, what a man needs, so we can give to the person and bring them happiness. But even that is not enough, because when you give a lot to a person, they may start taking advantage. When you serve someone, they may feel like they are the one in charge, and that too becomes a problem, one that must be dealt with. If you truly enter into a loving relationship, you'll need to move closer when they show love and step back when they behave wrongly. This is unavoidable. Love always needs two shores. But doing it the right way is not easy either. There are endless problems here. Endless problems arise because people long for love. This means our attitude toward this energy is wrong from the very beginning. And it's not because we are bad, it's just how human development works. There are God's angels. They know how to give love selflessly. That's why they are born in paradise. But we are born on earth because we haven't learned this yet. The purpose of human life is to learn how to relate to this energy properly. A person who can love selflessly and unconditionally is not born in the material world. Such a person goes to the spiritual world. Our entire journey upward is about understanding the true meaning of love. And it all begins with love for one another, and that's exactly where all the problems start. No person, no problem. But life feels empty and boring without others. Yet as soon as someone appears, the question arises, why don't they want to understand me? The answer is simple, because they want to be understood themselves. And everyone wants to be understood because everyone wants love. We crave love. But love is a kind of energy and we don't know how to use it. That's why we've gathered here, to reflect a little on this topic, to think about how to work with this energy. Then a question comes up right away. Why start a family if we are supposed to give our hearts only to God? And if we give our hearts to God, what's left for our wife and children or husband? So many questions come to mind. For example, if I love someone and expect this energy to bring me pleasure, I can become attached, and that will bring suffering. But if I want to use this energy to help someone close to me, to cooperate with them, to care for them, then I will be happy. Because gratitude will come from them, and even while giving this energy, I'll still feel happy. Let's say I just love to talk all the time, but a girl asked me to listen instead. Now there's a conflict. She decided to teach me a little lesson. I didn't expect to be taught anything here.
I didn't teach.
Not yet? I see. You didn't come here for nothing? All right, here's an orange for you. Wishing you happiness. Sorry if I did something wrong. Service is always hard. You have to give your own energy for it. The word love includes many things. Everything starts with being in love. That has not been cancelled. Being in love shows that people are compatible. Compatibility, first of all, is in the heart. If you feel in your heart that this person is yours, then there is compatibility. Astrologers often say, you are not compatible, but real compatibility is felt in the heart, not written on paper. If your heart feels the person, then there is compatibility, there is a relationship. What you need is a relationship, not pleasure from the person, a relationship. These are two different things. Many people think, if I enjoy the person, then they are mine. No, your person is someone you can build a relationship with. So the conclusion is, before marriage, you must communicate. Don't just enjoy each other's bodies. You need to talk and connect, to understand how close your hearts are. But even this closeness doesn't guarantee happiness. Happiness means the person behaves properly, because in love our desires and our happiness don't always match. We want the other person to give us pleasure, and this creates conflict. Instead, we must learn how to make the other person feel good. Even if it's not what we feel like doing, we must act with understanding. There is one force that builds a relationship. That force is called respect. And we must respect a person not in the way we want, but in the way they are made. When a little girl is born, she behaves in a certain way. And we're surprised. How does she already know how to look sweet at people? How does she already know to smile at everyone? She's still very small, but she already knows it. Why do you think that is?
Instinct.
What do you mean, instinct? Is she a puppy or something?
Female energy?
Yes, it means she was born like that. A little girl naturally wants to build relationships. And a little girl wants to show everyone that she is good. And this is very, very important to understand in a woman. A woman, in principle, cannot be bad. Woman is the better half of humanity. She always feels others' pain and problems. Her nature is to be good. A woman is born to be good. And how do all the women look at me during lectures? They look at me. I am good. I am good. I am good. Such a signal is coming. The first rule in a relationship with a woman: if you don't see your wife as a good person, there will be no love. Even if a woman is wrong, she is still good. Take a little girl, for example. You want her to grow up wise. If you think she's bad, she'll never become wise and won't want any kind of relationship with you. She'll just keep rebelling. Even if a little girl is acting out, you still need to show her that she's good. Then she'll calm down and listen. Say you want to explain something to her. To do that, you need to look at her and believe that she's good. If she's good in your eyes, then you can explain. If not, you won't be able to, because a woman's intelligence only switches on when she feels she's good. If a child is throwing a tantrum and driving you crazy, you still need to show her she's good. Then she'll understand. That's all a woman needs, because her mind works in an atmosphere of harmony. If she feels understood, a woman will figure out everything on her own. You don't even need to explain. That's how her intuition works, subtly and deeply. You might say boys are the same. They also want to be good, but that's not true. If a boy misbehaves and you ask him, "Are you a good boy?" he might say, "No." Those who are laughing have seen this happen. It's hard for a woman to understand. You ask a boy, "Are you a good boy?" And he says, "No, I'm not." Maybe he is good or maybe not, but that's not what matters to him. That's not what he's made of. His nature isn't about being good. A boy's nature is about being strong and achieving his goals. He wants to succeed. That's why he keeps striving. And what does he achieve? Whatever he understands about life, that's what he aims for. That's why a little boy can be a big challenge. With a little girl, you can come to an agreement. If you treat her gently, then everything will be fine. But that won't work with a boy. He'll still get into everything because that's how he sees the world. He constantly needs to prove himself, and he will, as far as his mind allows. That's why you need to be careful with boys. They can even get themselves killed by going where they shouldn't. That's why boys die more often than girls, because they climb into everything. They feel they must reach and achieve everything. Now we've grown up. How is a little girl different from a grown woman when it comes to "I am good"? Height and age, nothing more. A grown-up girl is also good. The first thing a man needs to understand is, if you want to talk to a woman, remember, she is good. And just because she's good doesn't mean the man is good. I recently heard one man's biography. It holds such deep wisdom. His biography, born, was bad for a while, died. All the men are laughing because they recognize their own life story. And the women are laughing too, because that's exactly how they treat men. If a woman says, "I'm good," then the man is usually not very good. But a woman needs to understand that respect is a two-way street, not just one way. If you want love, it starts with respect. Respect means the energy of love will begin to flow. If you don't see your wife as a good person, she won't even look at you. There will be no love. Being good means always being good. Even when she's being moody, she's still good. A woman is built in such a way that she always believes she's good. For example, when she throws a tantrum. Now I'll reveal to you some deep secrets of female psychology. When a woman throws a tantrum, does she think she's being bad? No. Now another question. If a woman throws a tantrum and thinks she's bad, what happens then? She becomes unattractive, lonely, worn out, and infertile. So a woman believes she's good because that's how her mind is built. She must see herself as good, otherwise she can't live a normal life. Some women don't see themselves as good because they were made to believe that since childhood. What happens as a result? A lonely, unhappy, infertile life. Because someone who doesn't see themselves as good can't be beautiful. Beauty always reflects inner goodness. So ladies, think right now, how much do you consider yourself a good person? If you feel you are good, then you are beautiful. If you feel you are not good, then you are not beautiful. A person who doesn't feel good inside cannot look beautiful.
What does it mean to be good?
Let's explore this topic. We are talking about respect now. We're talking about respect. And being good and seeing someone as good are two different things. A woman can often drive you crazy. There's even a joke about that. A lion and a lioness are sitting together. They had a fight. The lioness asks, "So when are you going to ask for forgiveness?" The lion says, "Give me a moment, I'll get myself ready and ask." They sit quietly again. She turns to him and says, "So are you ready?" He says, "Yes." She says, "Then go ahead and ask." He says, "Forgive me, dear, for the fact that you bit me." The women are laughing. Why do you think that is? Because they recognize their own married life in it. Just as a woman needs to feel she is good in order to share her love, a man needs to feel he is strong, important, respected, and responsible. Now here comes a very important question, one that can solve all your problems, and then you won't need to come to more lectures. If you can answer it clearly right now, you'll understand everything else yourself. Is a woman always good or not?
No.
No, she isn't, right? So a woman is not always good. Now here's the next question. Can this be considered a serious relationship when you always see her as good, even though she's almost never good? Is that really serious? I'm talking about what's serious and what's not. If I'm a serious person, can I call a bad person good? Is that honest?
No.
No. This is a very important topic. Safety is the right thing, and it also leads to love, because it's very important to understand that love is not a serious kind of energy. To love someone, you need to play with it, and what I'm saying now seems so unclear, so strange, like it's just a game, some kind of game. Meanwhile, our family is falling apart. Love is a very strange thing. For example, I come to my wife and say, "You're my sweetheart," even though yesterday she drove me crazy. If I tell her, "You drove me crazy," will that make our love stronger? No. I don't bring up the past. I just come and say, "You're my sweetheart." What will my wife's reaction be?
She'll burst into tears.
She will start apologizing.
You might also provoke a new fight.
That's possible too. But what if he keeps behaving kindly?
It still might lead to a fight.
All right, see how well you're participating? Wonderful. Let's reflect on this. I come to my wife and say, "Please forgive me, because we had a fight." She says, "I won't forgive you, because in your lectures you say you're not serious about it. You're just fooling me, pretending you're guilty." I say, "This time I really feel guilty, though in fact I don't. I lied to her." But she believes me and says, "All right, fine," because I look at her with sincerity. Then she starts telling me why she was hurt, and I begin to understand what I did wrong. What am I talking to you about now? I'm talking about love, about how this energy works. It doesn't work in a serious environment. If I had taken a firm stand and started proving that she was more at fault, it would have led to divorce, and it always does. Because love doesn't work in an atmosphere of logic or in the desire to defend your rights. Love only flows in a light atmosphere. It can't move in a heavy one, it suffocates there. Therefore, no one can ever seriously explain anything to a loved one. If you sit down and try to explain something seriously to your husband, his mind will explode. And if you explain something seriously to your wife, her mind will explode too. Loved ones don't want to hear accusations. It hurts too much. Then comes the question, what about mutual understanding? Well, it doesn't happen in a serious atmosphere. It can only grow in a light and easy one. Because love is a very delicate energy. If you tell your wife the truth the same way you would tell a friend, that truth will hit her hard. She won't be able to handle that pressure, and neither will the husband. And things get even worse because emotional energy comes from the heart, but the energy of reasoning and proof comes from the head. For a woman, the head is a very sensitive area. And for a man, this is the zone where he applies pressure, through logic and proving he's right. A man's heart is a very sensitive area, while for a woman that's where she applies emotional pressure. When she tries to defend something, she does it emotionally. Let's talk. With emotion. And the man has no protection in that area. He says, "Maybe tomorrow, I'm tired today." But later he comes and says, "Now I'll explain everything to you." The woman can't handle that. Her mind tenses up right away and she thinks, "Here we go again. How long is he going to talk this time?" Did I say something wrong about women?
That's absolutely true.
Men, did I say something wrong? Do you enjoy feeling emotional pressure from a woman? No. And do you enjoy logical pressure from men? That's how we're built. What's a quarrel? It's when the husband puts pressure, the wife tenses up, and then she pushes back with emotions. Then both keep pressing harder and harder, and that's how a quarrel begins. You tell your husband, "Apologize to me." But he was going to apologize. He came to say sorry, but now you're forcing him to do it. Will he still apologize? No. Why? Because love cannot tolerate any kind of pressure. There's no logic in love. It's all about play. To learn more on the subject of health and healing of the body, please make sure to read my health guide, available for download on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram page. Thank you very much, and see you soon.